Hello and welcome to Dollhouse. Today we will be working on installing drapery on these two windows. As you can see, the windows are different. This one is narrow but it's longer, and this one is wider. I have decided that I'm going to set the curtains so that they line up on the top and on the bottom. So that means that this part is going to be exposed on the taller window, and it's going to reveal just the crown of the arch on the wider window. So first thing, I'll be using this copper wire. I believe that is 16 gauge to create a bracket to hold the curtain rod. I need about 2 inches. And I need to cut 2, one for each side. And it must be as straight as I can make it. This could also be done with a 18 gauge wire. It probably would be easier to shape it. Okay, and then going to create a round loop. Okay, so now I have a round loop right here, but I want it to look like a lollipop top, so okay, and I can close it a little bit more. Perfect. Now this set of tools at the 99-cent store. Now to the width of my flat nose plier, going to bend it upward. Okay. So this part is going to go against the wall. And yet one more. So I have kind of like a little square right here. Okay, see? And now again, this loop, I want to go up and around. Okay, so this is where the curtain rod would be sitting, right here. Okay, and at this point I think I just want to cut it, trim it. I can make a design, but the curtains are going to be the decorating part. Okay, so this is my bracket, and I have to make 4 of them because I have 2 windows. I have my 4 brackets, and it's important that they match, because how much they stick out, it's going to determine how far the curtain is from the wall. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and apply them onto the windows. Having my brackets ready here, I constructed this column out of Legos, because this is the height at which I want to place my brackets on the wall. So here, the top of my pedestal is where I want the bottom part of the bracket to rest. And for that, I'm going to use E6000 glue, metal on wallpaper. I have applied the glue on my little bracket here, and before it dries, this is one of the most difficult things to do, because you're working from far away. And when I apply it here, I definitely don't want my finger glued on. Okay, and I have to make sure not to try and rearrange it right now so that it stays. And my brackets are set. I have here a crafting stick. This is going to be the rod. And I have my cherry wood stain that I also use on the other wood trim that is in this room. So I need two curtain wraps. I'm gonna stain the whole thing first, and then I'll cut it to size. And of course this is gonna be hidden by the curtain, so it doesn't have to be perfect, but we do want it to be nice. Because when we construct our doll houses, we do it with love. We want them to look beautiful, and we want them to look as much possible as a real house. At least for me, building a doll house, the goal is that if you were to take a picture without an item 4 size reference, people would think that it is a house of a normal size, not a 1-inch scale. Okay, I'm gonna let it dry, and I'll come back and do a second coat so that it acquires a rich color. This house was constructed for people who were elegant, who had very good taste in their furnishing as well as in their taste for their decoration. Okay, as soon as it dries, I'll come back to cut it. One of the wraps has to be 3.5 inches or 9 millimeters. Okay, so this is one. This is for the narrow window. But I also have to do this. I'm going to sharpen the 2 ends because I want to add finials on either side of it. Okay, I don't want to take too much. I still want to maintain the length, but I do want it to be as pointy as possible. Just like if it was a little pencil. Okay, and just in case it shows, just a little bit of that rag that hopefully still has a little bit of stain. Okay, so this is my rod. This is the first one. And before we go any further, let's make sure that our curtain rod fits on the bracket. And it does so perfectly, so we can continue. These are the beautiful lace curtains that I have selected. They are pleated, and I love it because it has these tiny little pleats that go perfectly with the scale of the house. And it also has this other ribbon attached at the top of it, which is perfect because it's pass-through ribbon. And I can wiggle my curtain rod inside of here carefully, and I don't have to sew, I don't have to do anything to it. Okay, so this is the way it would work. And I will go all the way through. Okay, so this is how it would work. And then once I have it here, I can select whether I can stretch it and have it stretched up here, but I still have the pleats on the bottom, or I can do this and pleat it even more. So that's up to however I want to do it. Now I just bought the smallest piece that they would sell me. I found this at Joann Fabrics, And now I'm going to go ahead and cut it to the length of each one of the curtains. And I don't even have to go in and measure because I know that my curtain rods have already been measured. So let's say that this is outside of the bracket and this would be outside of the bracket, so I can cut it right here. I'm not going to wrinkle it because then it gets bulky. But considering that I want it to be, so let's say that I don't want to cut it right here because then it would be, the rod would be sticking out. I want it to hug it. So right here where it has the lace, this is where I'm going to cut it, and it happens to coincide with the length of my rod. So here we go. And of course when I get to the lace, I'm going to follow the pleat that's already created right here. And these are very delicate, very fine looking curtains. They're in beige, which means that it also matches the wallpaper that we have in the house. And I'm going to wiggle my way in here. I have to be patient, it happens, but oh, it's happening even easier than I expected it to be. I was going to say I'll come back once I have it all through. And it snagged a little bit because the rod is not perfectly smooth. And I don't want these things right here, so I have to trim them. And if I feel that it's fraying, then I can always add a little bit of fabric glue or liquid sew, so that it stops the lace from fraying. Okay, this is one curtain that can already be installed on our window. And this is the second window. This is the wider window. So we just have enough space exposed right here on the rods so that they can be dropped in onto the bracket. For the finials, a long time ago I bought a bag that had assorted shapes of wood beads, and that was the best buy I ever made because I keep coming back to it. I use it for different projects, and let's see which ones are going to be the ones to use. Okay, so I have a couple of bigger ones here, and then all these other ones are the same. So in proportion to the rod, let's see which ones look better. So I would glue them right here, or the big one. These are more dramatic, but I still want them to be within scale. I think that I'm going to use the smaller ones. And I'm just going to put a tiny little bit of wood glue at the end and apply the beads. So this is carpenter's glue, and I'm going to put it inside of the bead hole. And I'm also dipping and I'm going to have to hold it. This, by the way, will dry clear, so I don't have to worry about wiping excess off. I just have to make sure that it dries straight onto the rod. Plenty of glue in there. Okay. So that means there's no taking off the curtains to wash them. Okay, and then of course this other curtain will get the same treatment. And here we have our two curtains ready to be installed. The beautiful curtains are now up. And this is one more step in the completion of this bedroom. Certainly not the last one, and definitely not the last step for this house. So if you want to come with us for the next step of this remodel of the bedroom, the master bedroom, in this 1-inch scale dollhouse, make sure you subscribe to our channel so that you can come with us in our journey. Thank you so much for watching.